Hi folks, I'm here with Stefan Schubert to talk about the 2016 Christmas market massacre in West Berlin that occurred right here.
Hey folks, I'm interviewing Christian Jung, who is an expert on Antifa, especially in Germany.
Hey folks, I'm interviewing a German blogger called Naomi Seibt.
Hey folks, I'm talking to Vadim Dirksen, and he's the leader of the AfD Berlin branch of the youth wing of the party.
I'm going to be interviewing Alan Bakari, the senior technology correspondent for Breitbart News. We have our very first live studio guest, and I'm very proud to welcome Andy No. How are you?
I'm well, thank you so much.
Hi folks, welcome to a premium edition of the podcast of the Lotus Eaters. I'm joined by Andy No, and we're going to be combining this with the much requested tea tasting session. Hi folks, welcome to this premium podcast where I'm talking to Peter McElvenna of the campaigning group Hearts of Oak. This is a patriotic activist organisation that I've worked with extensively. Thank you, Peter, for joining us. Hi folks, I'm joined by Chris and Shelley from the YouTube channel China Uncensored, who go out of their way to explain, or try to explain to the world, exactly what the Chinese Communist Party is doing to China. Hi folks, I'm talking to YouTuber and Sky News Australia contributor Daisy Cousins, who put out a very interesting video recently about the darkest timeline of politics in the English-speaking world. Hi folks, we've got the immense pleasure of interviewing Dr. Gad Saad, who is a professor of marketing at Concordia University. He holds the Concordia University Research Chair in Evolutionary Behavioral Sciences and Darwinian Consumption, and he has also held visiting professorships at Cornell University and the University of California, Irving.
Hello and welcome to the podcast of the Lotus Eaters for the 6th of April, got that right. I'm joined by Helen Dale, writer, lawyer, extraordinaire.
Hi folks, welcome to this premium podcast chat. I don't know how to describe it really, but I'm privileged to be able to sit down and have a chat with Helen Dale. Hi folks, I'm speaking to Calvin Robinson, who is a political advisor, commentator at The Telegraph, The Daily Mail and various other places, a senior fellow at the conservative think tank Policy Exchange.
Hey folks, I'm joined by Richard Tice today, who is the leader and chairman of Reform UK, formerly known as the Brexit Party.
Hi folks, I'm privileged to be able to interview David Curtin, the Heritage Party founder and leader. Hi folks, I'm privileged to be joined by Dr. Sebastian Gorka, the host of the America First radio show and a new Newsmax show, which I've forgotten the name of now.
Hey folks, I'm interviewing Nick Buckley, who, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're running for Mayor of Manchester under the banner of Reform UK, previously known as the Brexit Party.
I am joined by the YouTuber Critical Drinker, and today we're going to talk about the classic 1970 film Waterloo. Joined by the, in my opinion, superb YouTuber Apostolic Majesty.
Hi folks, I'm interviewing Posey Parker, a women's rights activist, and I would say probably the second most censored person on the internet after myself.
I'm interviewing Will Noland, who used to be a Eton master until his decision to, I don't know, I guess make a YouTube video.
I'm joined by Ji-Yun Park, who is a North Korean refugee who now lives in the UK.
I'm delighted to welcome here for this interview Michael Malice. Hello.
So your first interview, you're having an internet troll. You think this is going to end well? This is going to be a disaster. Let's have some fun.
So today I've decided to speak with Sheldon Thomas. He's a former gang leader, gang member, and runs Gangs Line, which is a non-profit organisation helping gang members and former gang members to sort of get back on their feet and back in society.
Welcome, and today I'm joined by Mr. Benjamin Boyce. How are you, sir?
Hello folks, I'm joined by Hatton Tash, who we're going to be interviewing about what happened with Speaker's Corner.
Hi folks, I am privileged enough today to be interviewing Chris Williamson, the host of the Modern Wisdom podcast and Love Island contestant.
Thanks for having me, mate.
Hello, I'm joined by Victor Alice, one of the developers at ActiVote.
I'm joined by Helen Dale. Helen.
Hello, Carl.
How are you doing?
Not too bad at all.
Good.
I'm Josh, of course, and I am joined by Stella Perrett, who was a cancelled cartoonist for the Morning Star.
I'm joined by Byron Burchan, a Canadian comedian and actor. Sorry if I butchered your name a little bit there. But...
Oh, no worries. Yeah, Byron Burcham. Like Lord Byron, you're Byron. Byron Burger's Byron.
I'm joined by legendary comedian Steve Hughes. Much to my personal joy, because I've been a huge fan of Steve's comedy for many a year now. Today I'm joined by Philip Tanzer, a socially conservative ex-gay porn actor and men's rights advocate. Welcome to this podcast where myself and Luke Avery from the YouTube channel Lambda Bible Studies will be discussing the wisdom of Proverbs.
Well, welcome to Mad Lads episode 1 of the Lotus Eaters, which is Miles.
Hey guys, how you doing?
So for people who don't know, this is Lord Miles. I don't know if Lord, how do you say your last name?
Miles Routledge.
Today we're joined by a brilliant guest. He was a former software engineer at Google who was fired after questioning some of the more contentious parts of its diversity agenda, let's say. Taras Kobernik, welcome to the Lotus Eaters.
So we're very fortunate to be able to catch a quick interview with James O'Keefe of Project Veritas, who's come on to tell us about his new book, American Muckraker.
And this time I'm joined by a special guest, Mr. Mark Meacham, otherwise known as Count Dankula.
I have the pleasure of being joined by Dr. Gunnar Beck, who is an MEP for the AFD in Germany, and he is also an academic and a lawyer and an expert on European law, and a fellow Eurosceptic.
I'm joined by Simon Webb, who runs the channel History Debunked. How are you, Simon? And this time I'm joined by Mr. Gavin Bobey. How are you, Gavin?
Very well. Nice to speak to you.
Welcome to this special interview where I get to sit down and have a one-to-one with the CEO of Ageta, Jason Miller. Jason, thanks so much for joining me.
Hold on, guys. I'm legit dizzy. This is, I know I was the one who came up with this crazy idea. No, I mean, look, we didn't get in a wreck. I mean, we didn't die. So this.
Did anybody keep count of how many times we went around?
Oh, you know what?
I think about 2 dozen or so.
Me, Harry, interviewing Bill Ottman. Bill is one of the co-founders of Minds, an alternative social media platform that utilizes open source code and blockchain.
Today, I have the pleasure of being joined by Reclaim Party leader Lawrence Fox.
Joined today by our special guest, Dominic Frisby. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, Harry. Thank you for having me.
I am joined by Nick Dixon today. Hello. Nick, for people who don't know, is a beautiful comedian. I'm joined by Zuby.
What's up?
How's it going, man?
All good.
Welcome to this premium interview with Dave Riboy, fellow at Claremont Institute and the author of the Late Republic Nonsense Substack.
I'm very pleased to announce that we have on our show today Warren Farrell coming to speak to us about his book, The Boy Crisis. Warren has done so many things that it was a challenge to actually produce an accurate summary of what he is and who he is, so to speak. So Warren has been an expert in witness in child custody cases. He has written 8 books about issues to do with men and boys, and particularly his most recent book in 2018, The Boy Crisis, which we'll be getting into today.
I'm joined by Mega Verma, sorry. She is a classical art educator.
I'm joined today by Blair White. Blair, would you like to introduce yourself to our viewers?
Sure. So I am a YouTuber. I am a podcaster now. I just launched a new political podcast called The Blair White Project, a little spin off of the Blair Witch Project. And I've been doing this for about 6 years.
Pleasure being joined by Maya Tusi. Maya, how are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
I'm having an interview today about aviation, the RAF, and wokeness, and all sorts of things. And I'm joined by Tim Davies. How are you, sir?
Good. Thank you for having me.
I have the absolute pleasure to be joined by Peter Whittle. Peter.
It's a pleasure to be here, Carl.
Honestly, I've been waiting ages to get you on. Today I have the pleasure of being joined by Stan and Dan, the hosts of voiceofwales.com. How are you guys doing?
Hi. Fine, thank you.
Delighted to be here.
I'm joined today by Kim Isherwood. How you doing, Kim?
Yeah, so I'm Kim. I'm chair of an organisation called Public Child Protection Wales.
I'm here with Deborah Powney, and I am Josh, and you are a lecturer in policing and criminology at the University of Central Lancashire.
Today I'm joined by Jake Scott, chairman of the Mallard and political mastermind behind the Backing Badenoch campaign. Jake, how are you?
Today joined by Angela McArdle, the chair, I believe, of the Libertarian Party in the USA.
Welcome to an interview with Edward Jacob Lang, who was arrested for his involvement in January 6th at the Capitol.
I am joined by very special guests, Richard and Fred of Right Side Fred.
Hello, nice to be here.
How are you? Thank you. I'm brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us.
Today I'm joined by lyrical genius Dominic Frisby. How are you?
Very well, thank you, Connor. Pleasure to be here.
I am joined by trigonometry co-host Francis Foster.
Hello, Carl. Pleasure to be here.
I'm joined by guest CEO Jason Miller for a quick chat about Twitter.
I'm delighted to be joined by GB News host and the most base man of faith I know, Father Calvin Robinson.
I am joined by Stan and Dan of Voice of Wales. I am joined by Chris Williamson once again.
Hi there.
I am joined by Darius Davies.
I have the absolute pleasure to be able to interview Dr. Sebastian Gorka about his latest book, The War for America's Soul. I'm joined by Zuby. Thanks for coming in again, man.
Happy to be here again, Carl.
I'm joined today by Maj Toure, who, if I'm correct, is the founder of the Black Guns Matter organisation.
Welcome to an interview with William Costello. You are currently a PhD student studying individual differences and evolutionary psychology at the University of Texas.
I am joined again by Dominic Frisby. How are you?
I am joined by Mr. Stephen Carson, otherwise known as Radical Liberation.
Welcome to an interview with Kevin Lister, who was previously a school teacher. You worked as a school teacher for 18 years. Before losing your job for raising a couple of safeguarding concerns to do with what can only be described as trans ideology, I suppose.
I'm joined by Kodrin Stavri, otherwise known as V. You may have seen his YouTube channels, Romanian TV or Lack of Entertainment, and he has come all the way to England, not just for me actually, because he was on holiday with his wife.
I'm joined by Mr. Harry Miller, the founder of Faircott, but also CEO of the Bad Law Project.
I have the pleasure and privilege to be joined by Andrew Claven of the Daily Wire fame and also the author of A Strange Habit of Mind, a book that's going to be coming out shortly.
Interview with Amy Gallagher, who is a mental health nurse and psychotherapist in training, who is suing the Tavistock and Portman NHS Foundation Trust for a whole host of reasons, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I am pleased to be joined by my good friend, comedian and satirist, Abby Roberts. Finally good to have you in the studio, Abby.
It's great to be here. Welsh comedian, no less. Sorry, I should be speaking like that.
I'm joined by David Curtin of the Heritage Party.
Welcome to an interview with James Esses, who is someone who was recently cancelled, I suppose I could say, from your course as a psychotherapist for opposing more or less gender ideology being forced upon children.
I'm joined by Mike, otherwise known as Dr. Miranda McCam on YouTube. How you doing, Mike?
Hello, good evening, welcome. What year is it? Who's the president?
Actually, that is how I feel at the moment, to be honest with you.